Hey guys, Bray here from TGS with a Microsoft Flight Simulator video. We're going to be doing a short trip basically from New Jersey to New York, right past Manhattan and Statue of Liberty and all that cool stuff, so we'll kind of do a little detour. So it won't be a perfectly direct flight, but we will make it between these 2 points. Might take probably closer to 15 to 20 minutes if we're going to reroute to take a look at Manhattan, but other than that, shouldn't take too long. We're going to be doing it in a Diamond Aircraft DA40 NG. This is about 9 minutes, 19 nautical miles, so it's a pretty short, straightforward trip between two of the busiest airports in the Northeast corridor. I've personally been to both airports, flew out of both, landed in the both, and yeah, JFK is definitely a little bit more of a pain to get to, especially coming from 95, because Newark is right there basically, but yeah, obviously JFK looks much more massive, and I'm pretty sure is more massive. A lot more flights coming in and out of JFK than Newark, to my understanding. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I took the shorter runway out of Newark, runway 11, to have kind of a direct takeoff towards where we're trying to go look at New York City, and we're landing into the runway that was best aligned with where we're coming from to make it as short a trip as possible. The initial recommendation was taking like 15 minutes, and they were having me, take off to the south and fly up north and come back down to the southwest into one of those runways. This seems a little bit better. It's 10:02 a.m. in the morning, real life time, real life weather, all that good stuff. Have everything turned on for data. If you guys end up enjoying the video, definitely appreciate if you like and sub. Quite a few flight sim videos will be released on the channel, and we also live stream it bi-weekly currently. So it's a pretty fun game. I'm pretty happy with it. A few bugs here and there, especially because it's the Series X release not too long ago, like 2 weeks ago at most. I've been out for a year on PC, so I had plenty of time to work on it prior to it, so I'm sure some quick touch-ups and most Series X players will have a better time. Already better than what it is, which is already awesome in my view. So we're taking off with a visibility of 74.82. There's New York City in the background right there. That's how close we are. 2 knots. There's LaGuardia over there as well. So many airports around here. We're not planning to climb too high, guys, just on the basis that we want to go see New York City. I might divert left and then come down Manhattan towards the Statue of Liberty and Battery Park, so we'll pass over Central Park, the Empire State Building, all that stuff, then eventually fly out over the Statue of Liberty and make our way basically from there right over to where we're going. A massive runway, guys, just to point out. We're past it now, but look how big that airport is. Game is lagging a little bit. There it goes. Phew, that was scary. I've been to New York City easily 50 to 100 times in my life. I used to go every year, at least once a year or more, and it's only a few-hour car trip for me. I haven't been since the pandemic hit, unfortunately. It's been on my list. I've been wanting to go for like 3 years now. Get a nice little trip up there and enjoy the sights, but I guess life decided elsewise for now. But eventually I will get back to one of my favorite cities in the country and probably the world at that point. It's kind of hard to compete with New York City. If I had to name, my top 5 favorite cities, New York City would definitely be included. Same with Chicago, probably Rome, Philadelphia. From there comes a little tough question. I haven't been to too many other cities in the world. I've been to basically all the major cities on the East Coast. I might throw Miami in there. Might.
Acknowledge last transmission.
kind going to try and even out at 55 knots here.
Simon Tango Golf Sierra, leaving my airspace frequency change approved.
Not 55 knots, sorry, 55% power. Trying to just get the nose down so we can cruise. We have a lot of fuel, so I'm not worried about burning up a little bit. Clicking in the plane you can hear is me messing with the trim. There's good old New York City. You can see the World Trade Center, you can see the Statue of Liberty, you can see the Empire State Building. I'm gonna guess that's Central Park where the tip of my plane is, up there somewhere. Or over this way, somewhere in there. I know it's on the there's Battery Park and Wall Street, then there's this nice low area of New York where all the buildings get low for a while, as you can see. There are all these small little villages, and Chinatown, Little Italy, etc., etc. Spent many days, you know, going around those neighborhoods through my life. Obviously, one of my favorite areas is actual downtown, the heart of the city, up by Central Park. That whole region between Times Square and Central Park's like a really, really awesome spot to be, but definitely cost a fortune, I'm sure, to live there. My goal is to head up north though and kind of head south, and we'll kind of actually fly a little bit lower. Taking the views without any incidents is kind of my goal here. Again, it'll take a little bit longer to do this trip, but it's well worth it in my view to get quick sightseeing of New York City, and while we're on it. I think I see Central Park right there, if you guys can see the giant park. That's probably going to be our turnaround point. We'll probably pass it, turn around, and fly right over it, and then kind of head down. If I could figure out where Times Square is from down below, I definitely could try. I've been there many times, but I don't remember off the back of my hand what exact street we have to take off of Times Square from the air. If it was the ground, it's pretty easy. You look for the road signs and you know where to go. So obviously you got to go down Broadway. But
Frankfurt 4429er, contact New York approach on 127.6.
7th Ave and Broadway. If I look up both of those streets towards Times Square, one of them is right off the circle. So it might be worth going off the circle in the lower southwest corner of the map, Columbus Circle, for anyone who's been to New York City. There it is, guys. Beautiful New York City. And Times Square. There's the West Side Highway. Been on it many, many times. I used to stay in Battery Park, and then kind of be a hassle because half the places we go to would be up in Times Square and by Central Park, and you'd have to travel all the way up, and they would always take the left or the right, you know, east or western highway, basically. Roosevelt or the alternative. Back there's Jersey City, by the way. Way back down there, the big skyline. We're going to show it. Kind of no offense, but compared to Manhattan, I think a lot of people overlook it. If you go to Battery Park, you can get an amazing view of Jersey City skyline. I've done it before. As we get up here, we're ending up on the north side of Central Park. The city's absolutely massive. We would actually fly all the way out there. New York City and its suburbs and stuff would extend real far up. But we're going to reference off of Central Park and kind of make our way back in.
United 1773, follow the aircraft tone upwind. With 2843.
Go inside for the turn.
Runway 11.
Going downhill, but or down slope, but it's perfectly fine.
Going to 128.55.
Dropping to 50. As you guys can see, I'm going to take a little bit steeper of a turn than I'd like to. Go a little notch up. As you guys can see, we are here. Welcome to Central Park. I'm gonna dive down a little bit, way more than we would ever want to in reality, but get a little bit closer for you guys. This is Central Park. I've been here a few times. There's the zoo somewhere along the side. I don't know if it was back there, but either way, you head right here. Well, let's take us to Times Square. Welcome to Times Square, y'all. Right here. Kind of nervous right now because this is fucking ridiculous. It's like some Star Wars fly down the Death Star right here. Welcome to our tour of New York City.
Turn next taxiway.
We'll let ourselves climb up. Feel unsafe down there, to be honest. Make sure we're not flying towards anything. That was a little bit of a crazy thing, but right back there, we do have the Empire State Building.
United 173 exit runway when able.
I like to go inside for the turn. It gives me a better understanding of our angle, how it's affecting our speed and our height. We're falling in speed a little bit due to the turn, but there's the Empire State Building though, guys, right there. Nor the stall I was pulling up because of the building.
United 1773.
Gone up to 70%, but here is the Empire State Building. I went to the top more than once in my life. It's awesome. Highly recommend if you get the chance. Turn a little bit sharper than I'd like to, which could cause some stalling. But game is. Just wanted to give you guys a nice perspective. Building looks amazing. I'll screenshot that because it's a pretty amazing view. Game's definitely struggling to take this in, so just give it a second. I do have a very, very high connection. I'm running over Wi-Fi, so it's not wired. I have a 1 gig connection, but I only get maybe 300-400 Mbps over Wi-Fi. But I mean, you can see that it's doing a great job with everything remaining on top quality for at least Series X. I'm sure on PC you might be able to get a little bit more fancy schmancy with your generation of graphics. Right now we're flying over all the small neighborhoods in between. Still, I'm sure, quite expensive. Flying south, we have Battery Park down here. You'll see the World Trade Center, Ellis Island. Pretty much everywhere you can see here many times. As mentioned, one of my favorite cities in the world, and I think Cat's Deli is like right down there somewhere on that street. One of these two across the bridge. One of the sections across the bridge has Cat's Deli if you're in the delis. Welcome to Wall Street Battery Park. Not the place to be during a flood, but the place to be you're into Wall Street. Or if you just want to stay in a nice part of the city that I always like. Plus, a little bit cheaper than Times Square for the same quality, so definitely. I guess they, that's just what they do, but you can see the World Trade Center right there. I wish they would do a better job rendering it in. Looks like it's half in construction, but it's looking pretty good. Over here, you can see there's Battery Park to our right, where you get on the boats to head out to the Statue of Liberty. One of the hotels I used to stay at, it's right by my rear wing back there along that corridor. Over here, we have Governor's Island. I flapped to slow us down, but here's Governor's Island. Here is beautiful Statue of Liberty. A few years back, I did the tour where you climb up to the crown. It was pretty cool, the staircase. It was kind of sketchy, climbing up a spiral staircase that is tight. It's very tight. It's very, very tall, hundreds of steps. And, you know, you're just hustling and huffing and puffing. But was it worth it? Absolutely. So here is the Statue of Liberty rendered by the game. Not too shabby, actually. Right back there is Newark already, you know, just to showcase. We kind of flew far away from Newark and came back down. Ignore my angle again. I'm going way past what you would want in a typical aircraft. You'd want to stick around the 30 degrees, I believe, right over here. But for the purpose of the tour, I gotta turn a little sharper. So right here, it is good old Ellis Island. I went here to see the Immigration Museum, and you can actually do a hard hat tour of some of the abandoned hospital wings and stuff. I plan to do that next time. That's actually on my list to do next time I go to New York City. Go see one of the famous art museums, go there, go see a Broadway show. Try and take a horse ride in Central Park. All the little things you could do, because I've seen most of the big things at this point. I had my Statue of Liberty experience. I don't plan to redo that again. Good exercise, though. There's the MoMA. Obviously, by the way, over here is Brooklyn. We're flying towards right now. And the Brooklyn Bridge is right up there to our left, further up. See quite a few famous bridges over there. Yep, there's the Brooklyn Bridge. I forget the name of the bridge behind it. Further up the river, but that is the Brooklyn Bridge, the famous one that takes you over. You also have the Battery Park Tunnel back here that takes you across as well. But welcome to Brooklyn. It's like a mini major city within a major city. This what like a typical small city of America is like by itself without New York City towering in the background as in Manhattan. Just saying. It's like probably like the size of Boston or something. New York City and its surrounding area is just amazing. A lot of people, this and that, but still awesome. So I believe that is, that's not it. Airport is somewhere out this way. Obviously we have the time approach. That's what we're going for right now. I don't know what this thing on my screen is. Is that like to help me level out or something? I accidentally clicked some button and got some marker on there. They're about to cross over. Alright. Seems like we're somewhat even for now. This is a nice long flight. Definitely don't want to mess it up. After all that we've been through. Goodbye, New York City. I miss you. In real life. I just saw you in the game, so I guess it's nothing like going to New York City, seeing the sights, seeing the food. And while I'm not even a fan of just crowded places, it's one of those cities that you gotta go to and experience it for sure. Times Square is a little bit much because it's just so effing crowded all the time, and you get harassed by the Winnie the Pooh and shit. But other than that, it's a pretty amazing city. Like every city has its pros and cons. It's what leads me to really like Chicago. I feel like it's like has the essence of a New York City in length and towering buildings, but it's a little bit less crowded. A lot less crowded, I guess you should say. But closer to my home city, which is much smaller than New York City. But we're still in the top 5 to 10 biggest cities in the country as well. But I'm right along the East Coast corridor myself. You've seen our streams of this game. You've probably seen me fly by my my city once or twice or more. And I know it in very good detail. So I kind of call out different attractions and all that stuff when I fly through. I think I see the runway right there. What a perfect lineup. You couldn't ask for a better setup than this, to be honest. It's right there. We don't have to worry much about alignment. Just going to turn, start heading in. What I hate about this is how it puts the exclamation point over there, but I have to land on the actual runway. I don't know why they do that. Either way, we're going to drop down to roughly 30% power. Trimming up. I think we're going a little bit faster down than I would like to, so I'm tipping the nose up. We're only at 380 feet, and we're over neighborhoods. Eventually I'll begin to flap, maybe once we get closer. A little bit low, according to the system. Pulling up, we'll reduce speed and get closer to the air level they want. Dropping to 25%. Eventually we'll flap, but our speed's actually really good right now. A little bit high, but for pulling the flaps right now, we're going to drop pretty quickly down to 60s, I think. I got my flaps maxed out. We're down to 20 per hour right here. Sorry for that, but a beautiful touchdown other than that little stall there. But what I was seeing is we couldn't see ahead of us, but I was seeing on the mini-map that we were aiming right off the side. So what I did is I quickly adjusted, which honestly is better than running off the runway, but you also don't want to crash. But as you can tell, we touched down, we're landed, we're just cruising. We're going to stop. Well, this is definitely not where we would be parking in reality. We're just going to head over here. Parking brake engaged, and here we are. Again, I felt like it was a pretty good flight. I don't like that that touchdown was going so well until we started tilting to the right, and I had to correct it. But if you notice, we honestly touched the back wheels down, comfortably brought the front in, and it was actually a really smooth landing otherwise. So still shows I'm a beginner, but at the same time shows I'm learning how to touch down a little bit better instead of bouncing around. And I would have expected a pretty scary landing with that adjustment last second, but again, we would have had to touch down and immediately veer the craft to the left, which definitely would increase our chance of something going wrong. So it only made sense to adjust. But I hope you enjoyed our little quote-unquote mini tour of New York City and our flight from Newark to JFK. Would appreciate if you like and subscribe.